Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we kick off the debut race of the debut season of the NNSCRA Gaming Indycar Series, getting set for what's going to be, I believe, an 11-race schedule. And we kick things off here with our first race. It's a road course race at St. Petersburg. Going to get ready for 15 laps of racing here today, and should be a very interesting start to the season. This track peppered with road courses and speedway tracks alike. Of course, we've got the ever important Indianapolis 500. That's going to be coming up. We've got tracks like Homestead Miami Speedway. We've got Texas Motor Speedway. I believe Iowa Speedway is on the schedule. A lot of really interesting tracks. A lot of interesting road courses as well. We've got St. Petersburg here today. Mid-Ohio. You can throw in Toronto. There's a lot of really interesting road courses that we'll be going to during the course of this season, as well as we have 22 drivers that are in the field. And we're going to show you the starting lineup for today's first race at St. Petersburg. Is on the pole position is going to be Noah Cars in the 4. Alongside of him is going to be the, wow, it's not going to give us a very good look here. There we go. Cole Baker in the 8. Row 2, we find Pichu London on the inside. As I apologize, the camera angle is not very cooperative here. And alongside of him is going to be the 2 of Johnny Gardner. Row 3, Chris Dodd on the inside alongside of Eli Bright in the 26. Matthew Rodriguez will be rolling off on the inside of row 4 alongside of Kev Shearer. Row 5, the top 10 completed by Jay Jefferson on the outside, Alexander Rowe on the inside. You go back through the rest of the field, you got Jordan Lopez. He'll be alongside of Austin LaPlante. Mason Wood alongside of Tripentacchio Vernio, who I understand this is going to be the final NSRA series he will be taking part in. Then it's Matt Haas in the 28 alongside of Jacob Rose. Charles Jackson alongside of Zach Flickinger. Nathan Ormond lines up there in the 1 alongside of Jake Rogers. In the final row will be Jonathan Zorlin and Carson Gum. There's our pace car there. And boy, those camera angles here, with them being around this turn, makes it very difficult to be able to get the camera angle to give you that full field rundown. But nonetheless, let's go down trackside and get the command.
Drivers, start your engines.
There's the command to fire them up. These drivers obviously would love to be able to start off their season with a trip to victory lane and then maybe try and rely on consistency for the remainder of the year to try and get themselves this championship. Whoever's got the most points at the end of 11 races is going to be your champion here for the IndyCar Series. Debut race of a debut season, and Noah Cars will lead them down for the first time. Let's roll. We had an issue with one driver on the very start. That looked like that was the 2 of Johnny Gardner out of Penske Racing. Difficulties for him, and he may not even be able to finish the first lap as they are really racing hard back here. Cole Baker there up in the outside line. Ooh, off the wall, almost gets into Pichu London. They are racing tooth and nail here at the front of the field. London will move to second. When London moves to second place, that's going to now put the battle on for third. Cole Baker might lose that spot. Look at this camera angle. Beautiful camera angle to watch them come through this corner. I am not a IndyCar enthusiast, so I will not know what number turns these places are. As going by for the third position is Chris Dodd in the 7. Move Cole Baker now back into 4th, and Matthew Rodriguez now there in 5th place. I believe that's Austin LaPlante who's moved into 6th. It is indeed. Up towards the front of the field, though, we've got the 4 car of Noah Cars about to complete the first lap. And as we look back here at the rear of the field, that is indeed the 2 car of Johnny Gardner. His season getting off to a rather rocky start. His mechanical problem plagues him at the very drop of the green flag, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get back to the start-finish line before leader Noah Cars catches up to him. We're going to have to see. Noah Cars completing that first lap in just a little over 1:10 seconds. So they get around this racetrack, which I believe is 3.8 miles long, very quickly. Pichu London right there in second, and we may have a battle heat up for that third position momentarily. Chris Dodd was slowly closing the gap up between himself and London. Cole Baker dropped a couple spots back to 4th, and now he's got Austin LaPlante hounding him for that 5th position. LaPlante riding a little bit wider off that corner, which gives you better speed off exit, but it also gives you a little bit more of a, maybe a heart throb. It makes your heart stop if you catch that tire barrier. LaPlante trying to get there to the right rear of Cole Baker, and he's going to try and get the advantage going down here into this right-hander. So LaPlante setting up Cole Baker very nicely, and he will clear for the 5th position. So Baker now slips back to 6th. Trying to fight back. 7th is Matthew Rodriguez. We've got a good battle going on here. That is for the 7th position, Alexander Rowe and Jacob Rose in that tussle. Rowe currently holding on to the spot. It's kind of hard to tell the two yellow cars apart from each other unless you're able to see the number on the hoods. The 22 currently in 7th, the 5 in 8th. And then you got Mason Wood there in 9th. Take a look here from the helicopter view. You can just see just how spacious this road course really is. It's maybe one of the more spacious road courses that we come to. Whoop. As I fail there on the cameras there. Up front, Austin LaPlante, a man on a mission. He was able to crack the top 5. Then he was able to get by Cole Baker for 4th, and now he's all over the back bumper of Chris Dodd. That would be for the 3rd position. I think LaPlante's probably run the fastest lap in this race, and that is exactly what the case is. He has hit a 109.7. Next highest fastest lap was set by the race leader, Noah Cars, with a 110.2. So LaPlante's clearly got the fastest car on track, either that or he's the one that really knows how to get around this racetrack. Matthew Rodriguez, Pichu, London. Oh, and then we end up having Zach Flickinger just jump up to 2nd fastest lap time, almost a 110 flat just now. Meanwhile, Noah Cars, all this going on behind him, he's been able to maintain about a 2nd lead between himself and Pichu London. London just riding in the 2nd position. He hasn't gained a whole lap, but then again, he hasn't really lost a lot to Noah Cars. They seem to be running pretty identical lap times to the 4 and the 83. Last time by, Noah Cars ran a 110.214. Pichu London just a tick slower, 110.569. 110.7 for Chris Dodd, and of course LaPlante with that blistering 1.9. A little slower that time by, though, as he's still trying to get around Chris Dodd for the 3rd position. Battle may be on for 5th. Cole Baker now falls into the clutches of Matthew Rodriguez. Cole Baker's car not apparently to his liking here in the early stages of this race, and we had an incident apparently there in that first corner. Or one of the first corners. You can see the skid marks there. Don't necessarily know who it was that was involved. Could very well, though, have been the 10 car of Jay Jefferson, as he is a long ways back. So too is Zach Flickinger. Our NNSCRA split cam will give us an idea of who it was that was involved, but I assume it was one of those 2 drivers, and I would probably wager the guess is on Jay Jefferson. You guys getting to see the replay of what exactly went down. 1/3 of the way through this race, Noah Cars showing the way, and now that battle that was heating up for 3rd place with LaPlante trying to get by Chris Dodd has now kind of gone away. Chris Dodd has been able to open a bit of distance between himself and LaPlante, and now there's almost the same space of distance between himself and Pichu London. So what was a shaping battle for 3rd now is settled out and may end up turning into potentially a 3-way fight for that 2nd position, which I don't think Noah Cars would have an issue with, because as any good open wheel racer knows, you battle with another driver, different braking lines and everything. It's just going to be to the advantage of the driver up ahead trying to pull away. You cannot run a faster lap time battling with a race car than you would if you were running laps by yourself. The car either behind you or in front of you is the one that determines where your braking zone is rather than yourself. And Chris Dodd going wide through that corner. He almost got the wall there, and I think he might have gotten the wall a corner prior to that, and that just slowed his momentum. Austin LaPlante right there to pounce, and LaPlante has now moved his way up into the podium. That is the fastest car on track, no doubt. LaPlante's car, not only the fastest, but looks like it's the best handling race car. He has been able to make corners a lot better, especially on entry, than others. problem for him, though, is he's had to deal with traffic all through this race. He's had to fight his way up to this third position. If he had started second, we may not have had Noah Cars showing the way in the entirety of this race so far. LaPlante again beginning to reel in Pichu London for second. We got a good battle going on just in the top 5 here. Cole Baker battling back here with Matthew Rodriguez. That battle's been going on between these two for the last 3 or so laps. And as they've been battling, that's now allowing Alexander Rowe in 7th place to start closing in. Or I apologize, it's actually Jacob Rose in the 5 starting to close in there. He's in 7th, but these two race it up enough and he may find himself up inside the top 5 momentarily. While then you've got Alexander Rowe there in 8th and a battle on for 9th. Charles Jackson battling with Mason Wood, the 11 and the 12. Jackson trying to get around Mason Wood, and he will complete the pass. So move Jackson now into 9th, Mason Wood back to 10th, and he may not keep that spot for very long because here comes Nathan Ormond in the 1 car. He's got thoughts about trying to crack the top 10 now. That's his teammates, a couple of Penske teammates there. Penske's got a lot of drivers in this series. Mason Wood in the 12, Nathan Ormond there in the 1, Johnny Gardner in the 2, as well as the current race leader, Noah Cars in the 4. Back up to the front again, and Matthew Rodriguez no longer battling with Cole Baker for the 5th spot, but now he has to defend 6th place because here comes Jacob Rose. Rose all over the back bumper there of the Snapple machine. I have no idea what these cars are as far as manufacturers, so please do not be surprised if I don't end up having a lot of the technical terms for open wheel racing. This battle for second about to heat up. Now the thing that's interesting that I'm noticing here is LaPlante, if he's able to get by Pichu London, this time by, he's only going to have about 7 laps left to be able to try and reel in and then pass Noah Cars. Noah Cars has had clean racetrack this whole time. He's not really had a challenge for the race lead. LaPlante may be the only driver in this field from what we've seen right now that is going to be able to offer him that challenge, but it all depends on how soon LaPlante will be able to get around, if he can get around, the 83 of Pichu London for second place. There he goes, gonna try it. Heading down into a right-hander, he'll have the inside advantage. And London swings wide. He hasn't quite cleared him as LaPlante. As they go here through the S's. Oh, and London's gonna get the wall. Not once, but twice. Gets it off the other wall as well, the following wall, and then runs wide out of that corner. And LaPlante will now clear for the 2nd spot. So now the question is, does Austin LaPlante have enough time to reel in Noah Cars for the race lead, potentially this race win? It's going to be Penske versus Ganassi, it looks like, here for this victory. And Noah Cars may end up receiving a sensation he hasn't had since the drop of this green flag, and that is a battle for his race lead. Noah Cars has had absolutely no defending. He's just had to look out the windshield. Well, actually, these cars don't really have windshield, but out the front of his race car, I should say, and log laps. Now he may have to start looking in his rearview mirrors. I have a feeling that number 9 Target car is going to be starting to loom in his mirror. Also wondering just exactly how that contact with the wall may have affected Pichu London's car, because now it's looking like he's starting to get reeled in for 3rd place by Chris Dodd in the 7th. The cars are pretty durable, but they take a hard enough hit into the wall and it can really affect the handling of the race car. It can knock the toe out, the wheel could be facing partially the wrong way, and if that's the case, then it's going to wear a lot more, cause a greater chance of you wearing that tire down. And look at this, LaPlante is reeled in Noah Cars, and he is going to try and battle for this race lead. 5 laps to go. I'll bet Noah Cars wishes there weren't 5 laps left to go, because he now finds himself in a bit of a situation. But now we're going to get to see exactly how good Noah Cars' machine might be. Can he hold on to the top position as LaPlante's going to battle with him side by side going down here into a right-hander? LaPlante will have the advantage. But he had to lift a little bit, did Austin LaPlante. Otherwise, he might have ever driven that corner. Noah Cars did not lift, and so he holds on to the top position. Great battling up here at the front. You also got to wonder, LaPlante used up a lot of his race car, making some moves on drivers, working his way up into the top 5 and then up here into the second position. Like I said, Noah Cars has been out there logging laps, so he's been able to save his equipment. So is LaPlante's car up to 100% in trying to battle for this race lead with Noah Cars? Noah Cars could be just toying with LaPlante, giving him a little taste of the inside line before powering around him on the outside line. His equipment probably in a lot better shape than LaPlante's is. LaPlante been putting a lot of wear and tear on his machine in fighting his way up to where he is right now. And it was a piston problem for Johnny Gardner, so Gardner's season gets off to a rocky start. The only driver so far out of the race. A little contact right there between LaPlante and Noah Cars. Don't know how significant the contact was, and it was right here where Noah Cars got the lead back from LaPlante, and he will do it again. Boy, LaPlante likes to try it down there into 1, but he just can't complete the pass off that corner, which I think is turn 3. I don't know. So LaPlante seems to be a lot better in the second half of the course, and he got the wall. LaPlante just got the wall, and that's going to lose him a lot of ground now on Noah Cars. LaPlante may be trying a little bit too hard to get the race lead away from Noah Cars, and that may have cost him. We'll have to see if LaPlante can run him back down. It didn't take LaPlante long to reel Noah Cars in after he got around Peter London for second. We'll see if he can maybe muster up another charge and reel him in, but now time is not exactly on the side of Austin LaPlante as they'll hit the line this time. It is 3 laps to go here at St. Petersburg. LaPlante closed the distance just the least little bit. He is slowly beginning the charge back up to the 4 of Noah Cars. The other issue for LaPlante here is that Noah Cars is determining the racing line LaPlante has to use in order to make a pass for the lead. Noah Cars is the one that gets to choose which line he wants going into a corner, and I think that could have been a reason why LaPlante got the wall off that one turn. He was in a lane he's not exactly wanting to use, and again he slams the wall. Same corner. 1 lap later he slams the wall, and LaPlante cannot afford another hit into that wall, or else there's no doubt he's not going to have enough equipment to be able to get by Noah Cars. He's got to take it a little bit easier. He's using up his stuff way too much. He's trying way too hard. This time by, LaPlante will have a total of 2 laps to go. Again, the gap begins to slowly close up. So he's closing the gap even with having his race car clobber the wall twice in the same corner. He's actually closed it up the gap again between himself and Noah Cars as opposed to last lap. He's just got to get through that one corner, and I think he's got an opportunity. Meanwhile, we've got a battle that's heating up for the 3rd spot. Chris Dodd trying to get the final spot on the podium away from Peter London. The 83 may have scraped the wall there just the least little bit with the right side tires, and now he's going to lose a little bit of ground. And here we go. Is LaPlante going to hit the wall? We're coming into that section of the course where he's hit it twice in the last 2 laps. That time he made it through safely. So now, LaPlante getting through that one corner that's plagued him the last 2 times around. Now he may have his sights set on Noah Cars. This could be a doozy of a last lap. Cars has led all laps since the drop of the green flag, but will he be able to lead the most important one? We're coming down to the section of the course where LaPlante has been better than Noah Cars. This might be where LaPlante tries to make his move down here into turn 1 if he can get a good enough run down the straightaway. White flag, 1 lap to go here at St. Petersburg. It's going to be Noah Cars out of Penske Racing versus Austin LaPlante out of Ganassi Racing. Time, LaPlante losing a tiny little bit of ground to Noah Cars, but again, like we've kind of observed, LaPlante's been a little bit better in the second half of the course. Cars a little better in the first half. About maybe a car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths separate the two. Off the corner, LaPlante gets the wall. He didn't seem to lose a whole lot of momentum, though. Maybe about a car length lost, now about 2 car lengths. Does he have enough time, or does he have enough in that engine to be able to reel the gap back in and be able to make a move in these final few corners? He's going to have to drive it deep here into these final few turns, coming up towards that paperclip turn. You saw him overdrive really far off that corner. He was full throttle. Tries to diamond it through the turn, but he's not going to be able to do it down the straightaway. Noah Cars will go from the pole to the victory, holds off Austin LaPlante to win the season opener here today at St. Petersburg. LaPlante giving it everything he had, and maybe a little more, but just couldn't quite do it. Fought his way up to second, but 1 car plagued him from getting to victory lane, and Noah Cars will hang on from the pole position to capture the win to start off the season here in the NNSCRA Gaming IndyCar Series. Session should be complete, as I believe all 21 cars who are still running should have crossed the finish line by now. Nope, not quite, and now they have. Noah Cars will take the win. About 0.6 of a second he gets it. Final interval over Austin LaPlante. Pichu London was able to hang on to 3rd place, so he'll start his season off as well with a podium. Chris Dodd will bring it home in 4th, with Cole Baker in 5th. Jacob Rose 6th, Matthew Rodriguez 7th. Charles Jackson in 8th. Jake Rogers fought his way up through the field. He'll finish top 10 in 9th. Completing your top 10 is Alexander Rowe. 11th was Tripataki Vernio, 12th Mason Wood, 13th Nathan Ormond, Carson Gum 14th, 15th was Matt Haas, Eli Bright, and 16th Kev Shears, 17th. 18th is Jordan Lopez, 19th place will be Jonathan Zorlin, 20th was Zach Flickinger, and Jay Jefferson was the last car to finish the race in 21st. Johnny Gardner had an issue at the very start of the race. He finishes out of the race due to a mechanical issue in 22nd. So Noah Cars gets the season kicked off with a victory. We'll have to see what he does for the remainder of the season. We'll see you guys next time for race number 2 here for the NNSCRA Gaming IndyCar Series. If you enjoyed today's race, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finisher results, and these are your point standings heading into next week, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.